First of all, it's going to be a bit more complicated. I'm going to do a wee bit of flicking back and forth between windows. This is the VMware machine that I've been using to do these demos. And it occurred to me when I was preparing for what I'm about to explain, this little one-liner, that I've glossed over something here that is quite important. This Windows desktop has got 3 or 4 windows open. There's an Arduino, there's a JAL edit, and there's the browser. And using the Alt key and Tab, I can go between them. And I explained that before. However, there's a thing that we've been using in Linux for a long time that has just recently come to Windows, and not everybody is aware of it. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate that. If instead of using Alt and Tab to go between the various, using Alt and Tab takes me between the various programs on the one window. But if I use the Windows button, the Windows key and Tab, then what it does is it gives me desktops. And I can add a new desktop. And I've now got 2 desktops. So I can push JAL edit onto that second desktop. And I'm going to push the browser onto another desktop. So I've now got 3 desktops. And when I go back here, I can use Alt and Tab to go between desktops. And I've now got a desktop with my Arduino on it. And a desktop with my JAL edit on it. It's like having 3 computers, 3 desktops, each one with a different set of programs on it. So I can have if I'm writing something up, I'm writing up a 3D print of the month, for example, I can have the word processor that I'm writing on and a different desktop from the OpenS card that I'm doing the 3D modeling on. And I can simply go back and forth between the word processor and the CAD program. And it's like having them in 2 different computers, but I've only got 1 screen. Especially useful if you're using a laptop when you've only got the 1 wee screen and you don't have enough room on it and you don't like the clutter of having all these windows on top of each other. So that said, I'm now going to stop that share and go back to sharing and share something different. And this is this one-liner. Before I start typing here, I am going to explain the background, the context to this. I've had somebody trying to get information onto an old device, and we were talking about sharing. I'm doing sharing for one of these talks next week or the week after. I'm going to do a half an hour or 40 minutes on indoor networking, home networking, and what all the things are and what they mean and all that. But one of the emerging problems that somebody has was they wanted to get stuff onto an iPad, as it happened. But old iPads and old Kindles are wonderful devices for putting a document on. You can put a data sheet on there, or you can put an instruction manual on there while you're using your PC. And it's like the size and shape of a sheet of paper. So it's like having a paper manual, but you never run out of pages. It goes on and on and on, and all the paper's there. The problem is getting stuff onto the old iPads and old Kindles, because at that point they were supplied without an SD card, without any external storage. So if you have Python installed on your machine, there's a trick that you can learn. Watch this. First of all, I'm going to change into a directory called PDFs. And there you are. That directory contains a whole bunch of PDF files that I'd like to use on my Kindle. I don't know what the IP address of this computer is. So if I simply type ipconfig, it will tell me that it's 192.168.1.0 1.214. The 1.214 is the important bit to remember. So here's the one-liner. If I type Python, run a certain module, and the certain module is called http.server, and then I have to give it a port number. Now, port numbers are like, it's like channel numbers on a radio. Every IP address is allowed 65,000 port numbers, but numbers 1 to 1024 are dedicated. You're not allowed to touch those because they're used for things like web pages and connecting to other machines and shares and all that happy stuff. But above 1024, you can do what you like with those. So I've decided that channel 8000 is the one that I'm going to use here. So far, so good. I'm going to press return on that. All right. I'm now serving the current directory as a web page. So at this point, I'm going to change my share again. That reflective thing that you're seeing is the said iPad, or in this case, Kindle. So what I'm going to do is open it up. I apologise for the glare here. It's got a shiny glass screen, and I spent 24 hours trying to find ways of making it less shiny and reflective. But I'm going to know what with it. If I now go in here and start putting in the address, 192, there's the address. It's in the history because I checked this would work before I did it. I type in 192.168.1.214 and then colon 8000, which means use channel 8000. When I do that, I can go to it. There we are. And up comes a listing of everything that's in that PDFs directory. Now, these machines are not connected by anything. I'm using my internal network to share as a web page that directory. That directory is now a web page, and in here's all my PDFs. If I pick one of these, I can open it to read the web page, read the PDF, or I can download it onto this device. Simply if I wanted that PDF to be on this tablet so that I can use that as a manual while I'm doing something, then all I have to do here is press download link, and I've downloaded that document. It's just a simple one-liner. I'm going to be swift and terrible today because next week I'm going to be long and boring. So that was it. One-liner. If I go back to the other share, you'll see that down here, the web server tells me what it's serving and who it's serving it to, so that if I'm concerned that the next door neighbour is going to be reading my documents, I can see every time he downloads one. It's very, very simple. One-liner. And if people want, I'll put that up in the chat. And that's me finished for today.